Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Big morning, Chris, Ange in, the traitor out straight away, going in for the kill. Come on, it's Sunday. It's Sunday morning. Oh my goodness. Hope we're doing well, Chris. Good morning. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Obviously, the news yesterday it doesn't concern Celtic, but Ange Postecoglou was sacked. Derek McInnes is in fine form after his Hearts team beat Kilmarnock 3-0. Yeah, 3-0 victory. It took them 5 points clear at the top of the table. So Celtic must win today. And as you would expect, the news this morning is linked. A shock candidate emerges. Brendan Rodgers has been linked with the Nottingham Forest job. Pure speculation, of course. And even if he was offered it, he's not going to take the Forest job. Do you know, after everything that we've went through this season, I mean, Brendan Rodgers has already said, look, it didn't work too well the last time, did it? For him. On a personal note. Do you know, he had friends that didn't talk to him, family members that hated him. And folks still do. He's not going to leave. Is he? Nah, not a chance. Not a chance. Brendan Rodgers will not be leaving Celtic before the end of the season. I'd like to say that I'm confident. Ange is a traitor as well. Yeah, exactly. Ange left. I know, to be fair, you're right, Michelle, because Ange told our power brokers, Lawwell and Dermot, that he wanted to go and speak to Spurs an hour before kick-off for the cup final at Hampden. And everyone can remember Dermot and Peter Lawwell standing in the terraces of Hampden, knowing that the manager that had just won them the cup is going to go to Spurs. At least Brendan Rodgers won't walk out on us before the end of the season. Not like he did before. But anyway, we move on from that. It's an interesting day because obviously Hearts are now 5 goals to the better at Celtic. They're 5 points in front. And they're talking up their chances ahead of a showdown with Celtic next week. The showdown with Celtic. We need to get, I've said it, we need to start scoring goals. Derek McInnes said in the game yesterday it was difficult and notorious coming back to Rugby Park for the first time after leaving to take charge at Hearts 5 months ago, but it was a great turnout from our fans that came with a great expectation. We felt it in the warm-up, and it had the makings of a cup game, he says. First part of the game was frantic. Kilmarnock were better than us, but the first goal helped us. That's how the Celtic game's going to go, and they're going to be well up for it next week. And if they win the game next week, it's going to be unthinkable on Monday. Because the fans are already a little bit peeved off. I mean, this is pretty much the next 3 weeks will determine how successful Celtic are going to be this season, I think. Win the European run. Let's just talk about the game today. I'm not getting any negativity about anything. I'm just reading through some of the comments. But anyway, yeah. Peter Grant has also shared, so I don't know whether to believe this or not, but Peter Grant says he knows exactly where Brendan Rodgers should be playing winger Mikael Ange Belushka. How does he know? I'm just reading this. Made an impact. He's going to be playing today anyway, do you know what I mean? Ange, get Ange out your head. Dyson's out today, so I think he will be playing down the left-hand side of the pitch. But Tenecti's been good on the left, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We will be live today, an hour and a half before kick-off, as always, to get the team news as it is released by Celtic out in Dundee. Stephen McDonald, all about the money buyers, love working weekends. Stephen McDonald, right? You catch up with the comments. I have got an early poll out this morning asking you what the score will be today. What do you think the score will be today? Oh my God, people are going for a 1-1 draw. Don't say that. We get a 1-1 draw today and it's going to be a nightmare scenario. And then we get beat next week. We drop points today and then we get beat next week. And somebody's cooking. It's not the missus. Well, the window's on. So yeah, the scores today. I've went with 2-0 Celtic. Acceptable scoreline. Is it? I think we need to be scoring more. I think we need to be going into that game today and going, we need to put 4 or 5 past this lot. Because we've got Hearts next week. And that's not going to be an easy game. And they seem to be scoring for fun just now, Hearts. So the scorers are 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 and 1-1. I thought I'd throw a little spanner in the works. So the poll as it is sitting just now, 1-1 is sitting on 12%, 4-0 is sitting on 15%, 3-0 is sitting on 35%, and 2-0 is sitting on 39%. So tell me what you think the scoreline will be in the comment section, and we'll get it up on the... I'm not going to talk about too much about the speculation for the manager. I don't think that it does us any use at all. You would expect him to be linked with that job. He gets linked with every job down south nearly. Do you know, the Celtic rumour mill, and we all know who starts these rumours. It's the Scottish media, and we all know the leanings of the Scottish media are to the the team that aren't doing very well and can't even get a manager. They couldn't buy a manager, and it's still not confirmed who their manager is going to be, but who cares about them? That club are just here for our hilarity until they start getting good and the 49ers actually get a decent manager in. But anyway, I think when you look at the predicted lineup today, obviously with Dies and Maida out, we did speak about the team the other day on the live. When you look at the players that are available, it's going to be an interesting one for Brendan Rodgers, because does he make changes to get some players in? Let's jump onto the Celtic website, because some players do need game time. Some players definitely need game time. The likes of Alistair Johnston. Do you get Alistair Johnston on the pitch with a view to having him on the is it this one? Oh, there we go. Oh, that's changed. I've changed the size of it. I'm not down there. We'll just go. Oh, that's too big. Far too big. Oh, it's just I've changed the scene completely, haven't I? Let's just go back to the normal scene. It's Sunday morning. Never sorted it out. It's a little bit fuzzy head this morning. If you've not got a fuzzy head, you've not enjoyed yourself on a Saturday night. Anyway, Martin says if he does go, we can do what every big club would do, appointing under 19 as caretaker manager. Both of them out for number one, invoking memory of Tommy, etc. Baz, it's all about the money. Love working weekends. I'm just going through some of these comments. Stephen Johnson, he reckons 4-0. Celtic usually raise their game at Dens. Be a quick game for us. They don't slow it down. Yeah, this. I think that they've got a manager that will like to play football and try and have a go at Celtic. Will be Dundee or Pish, says Nick. Yeah, they are that. Michelle goes with another 3-0, another Galicia goal. Chopped off again. Don't say that. Don't say that. Play 2 up front, it could be 4-5. 4-5-0. But Rodgers doesn't have the bottle to try it. Eddie says, Baz said at the time, Ange leaving us will be his biggest mistake. We all knew that, but he's got to have a shot at the big league, isn't he, as a manager? players all want to go to the so-called big league. I don't think it is the best league in the world, personally. I think it's a league that's overrated, and I think that the football players are overpaid. It's just more personal. And I don't really watch any English football, because I know, well, the thing is that English YouTube channels get paid an absolute fortune. AJ at least 30 minutes. Big risk for the full game. I don't think that Alistair Johnson would get a full game. Brendan Rodgers and the backroom staff at Celtic tend not to bring in players for the full 90 minutes when they're just back from injury. They tend to just bring them in for around about maybe even a 45-minute period. Maybe give them a little bit longer, just over the half time. You maybe just give them the first half. Bring on Shin Yamada for the last 30 minutes. Is Michelle drunk this morning? I wonder who's going to be on the bench today. It will be interesting to see what the bench is, because, I mean, Shin Yamada's been nowhere near it. And Johnny Kenny's bound to be thinking, do you know what? It's fine being here at Celtic, but I wish I'd been put out on loan just to get some more football, as they thought would happen. High hopes for a scalping, but I think it'll be 2-0 today, says Mr. Squeaky. Stephen says it's time for a cup of tea. It's game day. Back to the games. Yeah, that's it. Back to the games, and I'm loving the fact that it's back to the games. It takes a lot of. There's been a lot of stuff went on, and it's always the same with international breaks. The sun's moving. It's always the same with international break. There's no decent news to talk about, so they talk about the big thing that's annoying the fans at the moment, and it's good to see that they've finally settled on a way forward. But I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm just excited for the games. I think that we need to focus. We completely need to focus, because when you look at the SPFL table, it's, for a Celtic perspective, I mean, you're looking at Hearts now sitting on 22 points with a goal difference of 13. Celtic are sitting on 17 points with a goal difference of 8. It's normally Celtic that are sitting up there, although back in 2000 and... where is it? I'm going to get this up, because Michelle sent us this. Let me just download this. Which will make interesting reading for you, because a long time ago, when the Scottish game was a little bit more competitive. Wait a minute. I'm going to just stop that there, because I'll need to edit it, because I think it's got conversations on it, because it's just doing a screenshot. 2 seconds. Let's get rid of this. There it does. Jenny! Crazy dog. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Yeah, that's a lot easier. That saves conversations going public. There we go. Add that. There we go. Look at this. This is interesting. We'll put it over there. It's a bigger screen. This is interesting reading. This goes back to 2006. Heart of the Midlow there. We're top of the league then. Celtic were second. Hibernian were third. Kilmarnock. Dundee United. And then Rangers. Just shows you. History does have a bit of repeating itself. And they were on 17 points, just like today they're on 19. But it is interesting that we won the league that year, didn't we? Anyway, we move on. The fact is, when you look at the SPFL table, it's Celtic need to get their finger out, and they will. They will do. I've got every confidence in Brendan Rodgers and the players. Kilmarnock getting absolutely humped by that lot. pushing Kilmarnock down, well, keeping them in 5th position. Or has it moved them down for 4th? Can't remember. But we look at the league table. Top of the table are Hearts on 8 games played, 22 points, goal difference of 13, goals against 6. Celtic 17 points, goal difference of 8, and 3 goals against. It's only been 3 goals against us all season, so I'm not expecting Dundee to score today. I'm expecting a high scoring game from Celtic. The goal difference, this is where it gets thingy, and this is where I said Celtic need to start scoring goals. Hearts have got a goals for tally of 19. Celtic have got a goals tally of only 11. They've only scored 11 goals. Hearts are at the top of the table on merit. Don't know, Hearts aren't at the top of the table because Celtic are playing bad. Let's just dismiss that straight. As much as I hate saying it, they're there on merit and goal scoring merit. And fair play to Derek McInnes. And he'll be thinking, do you know what? We keep on playing like this, and they can give them a scare. Hopefully it goes a bit like Aberdeen a couple of seasons ago, where Aberdeen were neck and neck with us until we played them, and then we scalped them at Hampden, and that was it. The arse fell out of Aberdeen. We look at Hibs. They're in 3rd position on 11 points. Dundee United are in 4th position on 10 points. Kilmarnock are on 10 points also in 5th position. Rangers have sneaked into the top 6 by default because of that pesky Aberdeen lot. Aberdeen winning 1-0. I mean, it's great for Aberdeen fans, but with taking them off the top, it allowed Rangers to get above. Only on goal difference, by the way. Rangers only went above St Mirren on goal difference. Because St Mirren went to -2 goals. Rangers are on -1. -1! The goal difference. When you look at the goal difference, Rangers are on -1. St Mirren are in 7th position on 9 points. Falkirk are in 8th position on 9 points. Motherwell in 9th position on 8 points. Aberdeen have moved up the table. 8 games into the season, they've decided to start playing football. They got a 1-0 win yesterday. They did get a 1-0 win yesterday. That took them off the bottom of the table. They've got 7 points. Dundee, who we played today, are now second bottom in 11th position on 6 points. And then Livingston. I think there's going to be Livingston and Dundee that will be the whipping boys this season. I don't see... I think that Dundee have got a manager who, thinks he should be a better manager than what he is. I don't think he has the experience to be able to get up the table, but you never know. You never know. Let's jump back into the comments and see what we're doing. Let's have a quick look at the poll. 2-0. A lot of people are going for 2-0 this morning. We need to score more than 2-0. Honestly, we need to. We need a big scoreline. We need a. If we're going into that game, not only, I mean, Hearts have got a free run this week, and this is the worrying point for me. I know we shouldn't be talking about the Hearts game because we need to win this game today, and we need to put all our energy into making sure that the team win this game today. But Hearts have got a free run this week. They've no European football. Celtic have got a little European game to contend with. And then we've got Hearts at the weekend. That's a hard week for Celtic. It's one of those weeks. I mean, it's the weeks. It's what players want to play football for. This is why they get into the game, because they want to play at the highest level. And although the Europa is not the highest level, but it's European football. Do you know they're playing European football? Hearts aren't. But Hearts have got a swagger about them just now. They've got a right swagger about them and scoring goals for fun. Let's hope the team turns up today. 1-0 Celtic, says Scott. We need 4 or 5. If we're really serious, I mean, we might get to Hearts next week and beat them 2-1. Might beat them 1-0. I can't see it though. our defence will need to be really good next week. Need to remember, Aj won the Europa League. It's not all been bad for him since he left. Who cares? Who cares? I don't care. You get 50 grand if you're fit in England. 70 if you're. Oh Jesus! Don't see many changes in the team today. Nah, I think the obvious one will be Daizen Maeda out. Kelechi up front as always. Who will score for us? Says Helen. I think the scorers today. I think Tenekte might score. And Kells, as the manager says, Kells will score today. Do you really want? Is that progress? Here's a comment. If Rodgers leaves, I hope Ange comes in. Is that progress? I don't think it is. You know, people have short memories. People didn't like the way that Ange played in Europe, one-dimensional. Do you know what I mean? And it was all laid bare. People only look at the good things in the past. So I'm not entertaining that stuff. Can't wait to have AJ back in the start lineup. We've missed him badly on the right. Yes, we have. I think that Alistair Johnson will get half a game today, because you need to think about Alistair Johnson needs some game time purely for the game that's coming up on Thursday night. So, and especially with Daizen being out. This break shit stopped the momentum of Celtic. Let's hope that they pick up from it today. Big Rab says we need to give Hearts their due. We have a real title battle on our hands this season. I'm not too sure if it's a title battle. Time will tell. I mean, Celtic have only can Hearts sustain it? This is the question. Can Hearts sustain this forum? They've not really had players out injured. Do you know? I don't know the size of the squad. The only thing that I know about Hearts is a certain player in their B team, and that's the only thing I really want to know about them, to be fair. But you've got to give them the respect that they're due, because they're sitting at the top. They are sitting at the top of the league now. Can Celtic put out a performance today to convince the fans that we can go to Tynecastle? Tynecastle was always a hard game. I know two away games in the league. You're thinking, is the big game next week? I think it is. I think it's the big game of the season. Never mind about the derby that happened over a month or a bit ago, and the bore fest that it was in the draw. But yeah, if we play bad today, I fear the worst against the Jam Tart, says Scott. We need to make a statement. Gary's got it right. We need to make a statement, 4 or 5-0 at least today. That's what I've been saying. I said that yesterday. I think we need to go into this game thinking we need to go in with a swagger. And I just hope that players and Calmac isn't having to tell the players where the fuck they should be fucking playing and where they should be on the pitch. Hopefully that Brendan Rodgers has managed to get some good tactical training into them. When was the last team outside Celtic and Rangers won the league? In the 1980s. It was Aberdeen, if I remember right. Or was it Dundee United? It was in the 1980s. But yeah. It was a long time ago. But, Rab, this is the 40th anniversary. This is the 40th anniversary of Albert Kidd. Let's not be kidding ourselves. Can history repeat itself? Or will Hearts get the revenge that they've been waiting for all these years? Could be a dramatic... If it's as dramatic as the season as that one, and Celtic win it on the last day of the season, or... well, put it this way. I think that'll be good. It'll be good for Scottish football. And Rangers will be nowhere near it. Let's just put that. The Rangers will be nowhere near it. But if Hearts do manage to maintain this run right until the end of the season, It gives us a bit of excitement. And I tell you one thing, what it might do, it might stop the Celtic fans leaving 10 to 15 minutes early to get out to their cars. Because it's all to play for. And maybe that's what Celtic need this season. Maybe that's the excitement that we need this season. Maybe that's the deflection that we need from the stuff with the board. You know, it's focus on the football and the excitement of we need to win every game to keep the Hearts and get this league won. Because Hearts fans, older Hearts fans will be thinking, I'm wanting revenge for 19... You know what I mean? They'll be wanting revenge for 85. But anyway, we've been here before, Vaz, when Burley was the manager of the Jam Tarts, they fell apart. Yeah, but I think that was more internal. That was because Mad Vlad, wasn't it? And they sacked him, didn't they? They sacked the manager, didn't they? When they were on a fantastic run. So you've got to look into, you've got to remember what was behind all that. What was behind Hearts falling apart then? Sunday morning up the rack, still blaming Russell for the top tier. Is Cameron Carter-Vickers out today? I don't think so. CCTV out today. Who would take that Nottingham job? The owner's a madman. Well, seemingly the owner marched up the out his seat before the end of the game. 15 minutes before the end of the game, total rage. But anyway, what's your thoughts on Maida? Do you think he's headed elsewhere? Yes. Yeah, and I think he's feigning injury. I think so. It's a hamstring. If when have we ever heard Celtic not send someone for a scan for a hamstring? When would Celtic allow a player to go away on an international duty when he's got a tightening in his hamstring? You're not risking the player. I think that he's at it, to be honest. And I think that he's pissed off with Celtic. I think he's seriously pissed off with Celtic. But it's like Brendan Rodgers said during the transfer window. It doesn't, look, whatever happens, it doesn't matter what happens, because at the end of the month, when that big chunk of cash goes into your bank, and it's no, you know, it's the kind of money that we as fans can only fucking dream of getting paid on a monthly basis. They're getting their money in, and it's, you know, it's tens of thousands going into Dyson's bank. And when it goes in, it comes up Celtic PLC wages. You know, it's Celtic that comes up on his bank statement. And I think that, like Brendan said, you need to buckle down. You need to buckle down. You need to get on with it. You need to get on with your job, and you need to work for the people that are paying your wages, no matter what happens. You know, you can't affect the what happened and what hasn't happened and all the rest of it. If you're spitting the dummy out, what does that then say to the next team that you're maybe trying to go to? As a player, I tell you one thing, Dyson Maeda, if that's the attitude that he's having, clubs in England will be going, fuck that. Fuck that pish. He's not going to get a team in England. If that was his preferred destination, as a lot of people were saying, he's not getting a club in England. There's no many clubs I'll take a chance on him. No big club took a chance on Kyogo Furiashi. Why? Everyone knew about his shoulder. You've got these big 6'5" English Premier League defenders against wee Kyogo, who every couple of months is like, oh, fuck, that's me, I'm off. See you. They see them as too lightweight for the English Premiership. If Dyson had kept up his pace, kept up his game, kept up his attitude, you're thinking, yeah, you're still going to get a mid-table club coming in for you, Dyson. But the way that he spat the dummy out, and it'll be perceived that he spat the dummy out, it'll be perceived that he's down tools. You don't go for having such a fantastic season, form-wise, scoring that many goals. If anyone sends a scout up to watch Dyson, the first thing they're sitting with a checklist. Attitude. Right at the top. Attitude. How's his attitude during the game? What does he do when they lose the ball? How's he tracking back? Do you know, how's his positioning? How's his chat with team? There's all sorts of things that will go into a scout looking at a player, and especially someone at Dyson's age. And especially somebody at his age bracket, because you can get a faster and cheaper player easily down in England than what the money that Celtic were looking for Dyson either. I mean, they were looking for 25 million plus. We are not going to get anywhere near that now for Dyson. And it could be the fact that if he's feigning injury at this time of year so that he gets through the next transfer window, and then he may stay at Celtic for another year and say, nah, I'm not going. I'll leave for free. Fuck you. And play shite. I think he's spat the dummy out. But that's only my opinion. And we'll wait and see. Only 3 points between ninth and third. Yep. When did the Hearts manager get twinned with Real Madrid? Glad you for a double today, says Eddie. Big shout out to Stephen Johnson, says Big Rab. Stephen, I hope you're good today. I hope your health is it's not too bad, and I hope that you're let's have a nice fantastic day today. Our manager don't last long, FC. We had a good laugh yesterday. Yeah, they're only here for our entertainment. That's the only reason. The Mute Man PLC is going for 4-1 today, even though Dundee have only scored 3 goals all season. Celtic have had a good defence. You know, we've not been leaking goals. Not been leaking goals at all. We need to stick the title race until January and hope the board get players in. Let's not even talk about January. Let's just get. There's a hell of a lot of football to be played between now and January. 3-0. It's bad times when Dundee United fans are calling Rangers mediocre. A mediocre Scottish club. It's not, because if you're old enough, you remember that they were a mediocre club before. Don't know. I don't really like talking about them. They're more here for our entertainment than. But if you look back to the 1980s, before a certain peg leg came in, and borrowed £5 million from the Bank of Scotland to buy Rangers. He changed Scottish football forever, and not for the good. And you've got to remember that at that time, Rangers were shite. Rangers were woeful, and they were a mediocre club. They bought success, and what you have to remember as well, the only reason that they got so many English players is at that time, English football teams were banned from European competition due to the thuggery and violence in Europe at the time. English teams were banned, and that's the only reason. It was a perfect storm as far as Murray was concerned at Rangers. They could go out and they could buy players that they could just about afford, but they could entice them to come to Scotland because they would get into European football. And when they were going into World Cups and stuff, they needed to be playing European football. That's the only reason. And once the money ran out, we all know what happened. Rangers went fucking bust. You know, they lived a false dream. Rangers were never. I mean, so what? They won 9 in a row. How many out of their 9 in a row? How many trebles did they win? 1. At a time where they were out financing everybody, and then people will say, "Well, Celtic out financed everyone." Celtic have been a well-run club for 25 years. We were self-sufficient, and I think that's the difference when you look at. And Dundee United fans have got every right to be calling Rangers a mediocre club, because they are. I don't think that they're ever going to get the investment that they think that they need to spend 40 million every year to try and get above us, and then a decent manager to come in that the fans can back. Because if you didn't wear brogues, if you didn't wear brown brogues in the Celtic jacket, you're not going to get liked by the fans, are you? Look, my county score today, says Michelle. As long as we get a result, that's what counts, says Tony. Let's hope it's rampant performance today, says Scott. I hope so. Square Sausage Mix says I wouldn't want Ange back. The Beatman says, Baz, here's a question. And we X10 Ekes that what? Tenectes looks good. Yeah, does that. Tenecte, Kelechi, 2 goal scorers. I think that will be the goal scorers today. What's the panic? Hearts season's end next week. No, it doesn't, Matt, because they'll still be top of the table if we don't get the right result today. They're 5 points in front of us as it stands, and if we don't respect the fact that they're 5 points in front, Jenny, oi, barking at kids, crazy dog. I believe they can't sustain and it can't do a month of Sundays. You don't think they can sustain it? Bloomer's a gambler. He'll spend in January, will we? I think that, I mean, they've been speaking about winning the title at Hearts at the beginning of the season, and we all laughed at it. We all laughed it off, thinking, come on, Hearts winning the league, not a chance, shut up. Are you crazy? We're not saying that now, are we? But then again, we just wait and see. We wait and see. We need a right winger, yeah, we do that. I'm just going to jump through. 5 weeks ago, we said if we keep playing like this, I can see Hearts being in front of us with at least 7 points. We dropped points today. Hearts are 5 points clear as it stands just now. This morning. We need to win, there's the answer. Yes, that the SPFL isn't necessarily won by the head-to-heads, as the Huns found out last season. It's won by being able to score, play past St Mirren at Paisley, and 11 men at Ibrox consistently. Yeah, but Robert, if you look at the goal difference, Hearts are on a goal difference of 13. Celtic are on a goal difference of 8. Do you know, they're sitting on 22 points for a reason. For a reason. And that's where we just need a good performance today. And that's it at the end of the day. Let me just double check this to see if there's... I mean, it's a massive, massive, massive week. Just see. I mean, there's more and more people talking about. I mean, McInnes must have been giving it large yesterday. Can't wait for the toughest challenge of them all next week. He thinks he's going to beat us next week. He does, doesn't he? And he's got every right to think so. And the amount of blogs that are still going on about Celtic to sign former Liverpool midfielder in January. No, we're not. God, even the manager said that's come out of nowhere. It's a nothing story. Right, how are we doing with the vote this morning? Score today, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 or 1-1. 1-1 sitting at 10%. 4-0 sitting at 18%. That's my preferred scoreline, to be honest. 4-0. Hope it comes true today. 3-0 sitting at 30%. And 2-0's sitting at 41%. If you haven't voted, please do. So I'm going to try and get it up to 200 votes. There's been over 1,000 people online this morning. Come on, get voting. Right? 200 votes in. There's been nearly 1,100 people on already. And there's only been 174 votes. Come on, play the game, as they say. But anyway, let's jump back into some of the comments. I'm going to, Gordon fumbled the corner that took the wind out of Hearts. Strange to get the sack. Was Graham Ricks came in. Less said about him. Yeah. I thought it was crazy at the time. I mean, they got rid of a fantastic manager. But then did he not end up taking the Scotland job and he was shite? Anyway, Dyson definitely going in January. Yeah, I think that. Play Bernardo in front of Hatate. He's murder. Mr. Squeak agrees with Jack. He's off. Dyson's move is out the window. Big Ange is coming back up the road. Don't say that. No, I don't want Big Ange back. Because, okay, he won the Europa. But look at the money they had to win the Europa. If Ange is still... Ange won't get another job in England. And Ange has also said that he doesn't go back to teams. And if we do go back to Ange with the begging bowl, please come back. How long is it before the fans turn on Ange like the same way that they're doing with Brendan this year? But Brendan walked out mid-season. But Ange walked out before a cup final. So there we go. Sky Sports News says had a foot injury, left one. A foot injury. Well, there you go. But Brendan Rodgers said it was a tightening of the hamstring. Did he not? Why does my gut tell me the player we got linked with the other day, Bobby Clark, is coming in to replace Rio in January? He's not. He has to be recalled by he's out on loan. The club that he's on loan with have heard nothing about a recall to sell him in January. He's on loan for a season. Do Celtic? Do we really think that Celtic have got enough clout? Look at the last transfer window. Let's have a bit of realism about this. Do we think that Celtic in the transfer market, the way that people were talking about Celtic doing their business, do we think that we've got clout to go to a team and say, go and recall this player who you agreed to put out on loan for a year so that we can buy him in January? Fuck and off. We'll send you an email to confirm it in 3 days. Like we said, fuck and off. But my name's Michael Nicholson and I've got to try and appease the fans and I'm a great... fuck and off. That's the way that's going. Bobby Clark is not coming to Celtic. Brendan Rodgers said it. Plenty of teams will come in for Dyson. I don't think so. Not from England. Not Premiership clubs. If you're talking Premiership clubs, you're talking bottom 6 Premiership clubs. I think we can still get a tune out of Rio. Well, if we don't, and today's the day, and no, next week's the game. If we don't get a shout from Rio, what the fuck's that? Thought there was somebody coming in the door. If we can't get a tune out of Rio today, there's something wrong. He's not going to get a big move. United should have pumped that lot yesterday. Yeah, I don't know. I never watched the game, so I tend not to watch them because when I do, they tend to get a result. At this rate, I can see him either going to Leipzig in January. He's not going to go to an English Premiership club. Dyson would pull a sticky, not with Japan. Maida 5 million, if that. I'm telling you, we've got 10 million for. Look at the lengthy contract that Kyogo had, and we only got 10 million for Kyogo. Dyson's only got 1 year on his contract. I don't know where we're getting this. We're going to get tens of millions. We'll get 10 million if we're lucky for Dyson in the summer or January. And I hope it's January because that's when we need to get him. Morelos must be going cheap. We take 15 million for Maida in January. You're not going to get 15 million. No way. I think we would have been lucky to get 15 million in the summer, to be honest. We got offered 8. Knowing the board's intentions for Europe, I would gladly have Big Ange back up here running amok in Scotland playing fast attacking football. Yeah. Just going through some of these. Let's concentrate on the 3 points. Yep. Let's concentrate on that. Going to jump through. Oh, there was one about Sinisalo. The talk of 20 or 30 million for Dyes in his last ball. More like 10 to 15 if we're lucky. Yeah, if we're lucky. I can't see us getting... I think it will be... You remember Bolton offered 8.75 million and Celtic knocked it out the window? I think that we'll be lucky to get in the regions of that now. No. I think that you got to remember, Michelle, Ange said, don't get too attached to your big stars. I think that Ange thinks that would say to Rio and Dyson, how the fuck are you still here? Why have you not had the big move that we spoke about? And then they'll go, that prick there, he's a fucking wanker in Japanese. I'm just trying to do this. No, it's just when people walk past the door, Michelle. 2-0 the day says, hey, the boys. Hearts could win it. Win the next 2 league games and we're a point ahead. 3-1, sticking 99 pence on it. 5-0 today. I'm hoping for a scoreline. And we've crossed the 200 votes. We have crossed the 200 votes. Let's end the poll there. See what the poll says. Scorelines today: 1-1 sitting at 11%, 4-0 sitting at 19%. That's my preferred scoreline, to be honest. 3-0 sitting at 30%, and 2-0 sitting at 40% in the vote. Thank you for everyone who took part in the poll today. Let's cross this down, get this back up. Remember, I will be going live an hour and a half before. It feels good to say that again. Getting back to going live and getting the team as it comes out, and then talking about our hope for the win today. Sinisalo all day long. Let's just see if it is. Nah, it won't be Sinisalo. Back to manager, back to team today. On my way to Dundee already, says Scott. I miss away days. I do miss away days. They were the better. Away days were always better than Celtic Park. And anybody that goes to football week in, week out will say that. They prefer... Celtic Park's good, but away days are way better. Way better. Get better banter on the bus. Be a bit swally on the bus. Get the ones up the back trying to invade the toilet, or sometimes you just get that cloud of white dust in the air. Don't know what it is. But anyway, Letters Trip says Ian, he gets the last one of the day. Man says McCowan, there's and 10 Eckies. 10 Eckies. That's a cracking one for him. Anyway, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, and I'll see you in a few hours, wherever you are, all around the world.